What's up guys, it's RZ and I'm over here at the Gobuku Studios, and today I'm going to be doing something new for you guys. We did get a request to do some anime discussions, and hey, a lot of us over here do watch anime, so we're going to start with some newer ones. And if you guys want us to review or talk about other animes, old or new, leave it in the comments below. But without further ado, this video is going to be going over the first 2 episodes of the new anime called Fire Force, or in Japanese, I don't know what it's called, it's like no Shouboutai. I don't know what the heck it is, but I'll probably put that on the screen. Anyways, we're going to talk about both episodes, but as the time goes on, we're just going to talk about the episodes as they come out, and it might not just only be solo reviews. You might have other people in here talking about it too. So if you want to see just episode 2's discussion, go to this time in the video. But without further ado, I'll talk about episode 1. Oh, one more thing before that though. I do want to say I do watch the dub, so if you're looking for like sub discussion, or if you hate, like, you know, the way dub translates stuff, then sorry, but that's just the way I watch my anime. So maybe we'll have some people who watch the sub on here in the future, but for now we're just gonna go into it. So episode 1 is titled Shinra Kusakabe Enlists, and essentially it's all about introducing us to the character of Shinra and all the Fire Force and everyone, about like what they do and all that stuff. Right off the bat, you see a bunch of action, and it's pretty cool. Like, you get to see someone turning into what they call infernals and being exposed to human combustion, which is like something where randomly you'll burst into a bunch of flames and turn into like a flame demon. So that's pretty intense. It's like on a train setting, and you see our main character Shinra. They call him Shinra, but it's spelled Shinra, so I don't know if that's like a thing in Japan how they translate it or say it, but yeah, so I guess I'll call him Shinra. He comes out and you see this guy, and I'm like, this guy's he's looking kind of weird. He has that weird evil anime smile, like, you know, in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle the Chows that have like that weird smile. It looks like that that kind of smile on his face. But this guy comes out of a bus, or a train, sorry, and he sees this demon and he's like, oh crap, what the hell is happening? So the Fire Force, who are the main people of the anime, come in, and you get introduced to all the characters right away. So the basic premise of the story though is there are these people who can use pyrokinetics, which is essentially the same as if you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like fire bending. They can use different forms of fire to both extinguish fire or manipulate fire, and however they want to do it. And some people cannot actually do that, so they have to rely on weapons and other means of extinguishing the fire. Now this group is made up of a bunch of them, and right off the bat, like I said, you see a crazy action scene. You're introduced to a priestess, someone who looks like a magician, and I'll get into the character specifics later, 2 people who use weapons, and they're like kind of tactical and all this stuff, and they extinguish this fire demon, and right then and there, or infernal, sorry, I should use the correct terminology. And it's crazy because you just see Shinra out of nowhere saves the priestess chick by using fire from his feet, and it's crazy. I was like, whoa, this guy, so he has powers. I was like, okay, is this a regular guy? Is this some guy that's just chilling? I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty cool. That's a nice opening scene. And right afterwards, we learn that Shinra actually enlisted to be a new recruit in this Fire Force, and he is the new recruit for this specific group called Fire Force Company 8. So we get to see more of them, and right after that, we go right to their HQ or headquarters, which looks like a cathedral. And I was like, whoa, I'm already hooked within the first 5 minutes of the anime, and it's pretty cool to have that be your first impressions of something. You know, there's some animes that start off really slow, hit you with a lot of lore, and this one, right out the gate, boom, action. Then you go and you're like, okay, now let's introduce who these people are. You got the mystery, let's get the answers. When it comes to anime names, I'm sorry, unless it's like a popular anime that's on for like hundreds of episodes, which I don't really do anymore. I only watch these 12 or 24 episode animes. It's hard for me to get the names, so I'm just gonna read them off here. The main people we're introduced to is obviously Shinra, whose last name is Kusakabe. We get Iris, who is the priestess. We get Maki Oze, who is like a magician type chick, who's kind of like buff and brute at the same time, but like has like a cute personality type thing. And you also get introduced to Takehisha Hinawa, who's the lieutenant of the group, and you get introduced to Akitaru Obi, who so far he's probably like my second favorite of the group, maybe like contending with someone else, but again, there's only 2 episodes that have been out, so we'll see about that. And they all have their own different personalities. So Shinra goes into the HQ, gets introduced to Akitaru and Takehisha right out the gate. You can see Takehisha is more of like a stern guy as a lieutenant. He wants to get the job done. He's very technical with his weaponry and other stuff, and he just wants to get the job done. Very strict. Meanwhile, you have Akitaru over here, who's pretty he's like laid back. He's like, yeah, but he does have a very serious, I guess, motive, if that's what you want to call it. But like this guy's like, he's lifting weights all the time, doing pull-ups, doing like gymnastics, all this crazy stuff, and like bodybuilder type stuff. And he's like a jokester, he's like, what the hell is this with this smile that Shinra always has on his face? And like I said, the smile before, it looks crazy, but that is revealed to be what happens when Shinra is actually like very nervous. He just smiles like that. So to many people, they either think he's crazy, that he's the devil as they call him, that's his nickname, or they also just maybe think that the guy's just a creep. So, and that gets brought up a bit later, so we'll see more about that. But you also get introduced in another scene, and this is a fan service scene. So if you don't really like anime for fan service, then you're not gonna like this scene. You get Maki and Iris in a shower scene, and Maki's basically saying, like, it's revealing that Maki she's hard-boiled on the outside, but a very sincere person and likes cute stuff and all that stuff on the inside. Meanwhile, Iris, we don't know much about her. We just know she's a priestess. She was from a church, and the ending of the anime does go into that a little bit, but like the ending credits theme. So I'm excited to see more about where her past comes from, because I like that type of character. They look innocent, but then they actually have like a much deeper backstory to them. We get a lot of flashbacks with Shinra and what he sees of his past with his mother and his baby brother, and you can see that he was a nice kid. He always wanted to be a hero. And you also see the dark side, which is that something happened to cause either, I'm not 100% sure on this, I gotta rewatch the episode to know this 100%, but it's either his brother turned into an infernal or someone turned to an infernal and killed his brother and mother, and he stopped them with his powers. But because essentially the entire like house that he was in burnt down, people thought he was like a devil, that he was the one who did it, and he was kind of framed essentially without having someone to actually legitimately frame him. I'm not exactly sure of this entire backstory, but you see like he tries to go to his grandma. His grandma's like, no, that's not my grandchild, like he's crazy, he's a devil. And that's what they keep calling him, the devil. So he's always lived with that in his mind, and he's like, it haunts him. And you see that throughout the episode. More of that flashback gets revealed, gets shown to us as the viewer, and it's pretty cool to see the backstory without it being shoved in your face. Like, look, this is this guy. Like, it does harp on it a little bit, but not to the point where a lot of animes do these days, where it's like flashback of every single scene to show something that happened. But I like that dynamic of Shinra, how on the outside he's not, he's not a protagonist like in these animes these days that are all powerful. They like, I mean, don't get me wrong, people love One Punch Man. I love Overlord. I love How Not to Summon a Demon Slayer. I think those are really fun animes. I didn't really watch One Punch Man, but the other two I did. And the character over there is just, he's all powerful. There's nothing that can stop that character. Shinra over here, he doesn't look very unstoppable. I don't know yet if that's the case, but it seems like, he has flaws. He has things that he's worried about. He has a traumatizing past. He's not a character that is just, oh, I'm more all powerful, this is a joke, I'm just going to go destroy everyone. No, I like that about his character already, and I hope that they explore that further with, him having flaws and whatnot. So like I said earlier, Fire Force Company 8, they're pretty much going on to talk about how to stop the spontaneous human combustion. I think that's what they call it, spontaneous human combustion. And they're essentially trying to get to the bottom of it. Why is it happening? But in the meantime, infernals, they cannot be stopped without being killed. So you have to kill them and free their soul. So essentially what happens is they get their first mission, and they're going out to stop this dude's wife who turned into an infernal. And the dude has a weird ass shaped head, dude. It's like a freaking, I don't know, it's like kind of like an egg, but not really. I don't know, I'll probably put a picture up. He's weird. But yeah, they go in and they're going to stop this person. It's like in a warehouse type situation where it's a really big area, and you see Shinra on his first mission, and he's getting these traumatizing images back. So you get the trope of, main character goes in, gets hit, he's knocked out, but they do play it up kind of funny, in a funny way. They he gets knocked out. You get like a 3 to 5 minute flashback and of him actually revealing like what happened with the Inferno, like I explained earlier, with his either mom or brother. And what ends up happening is he wakes up, and I think it's Takehisha tells him like, oh, get up, we got to do this mission. He's like, how long have I been out? Was it like days or something? He's like, no, you probably were out for like 5 seconds. I like the little comedy bits like that. They're kind of playing on the anime tropes that happen. But they go through this fight, and you see Shinra's abilities. Now, he's a third generation person that can use these abilities. I don't know what exactly they call them. They just call them first, second, and third generation. And they go on, and I guess with each generation it's more powerful, because you see Maki, when Shinra starts going in with his like flame powers, she's like, wow, so this is a third generation, the power of a third generation. I was like, oh, so he must be really powerful then. So he stops the chick, and he tells her, basically to let go, let your soul go. And the cool part about this is that Iris, she does like a chant whenever they're destroying the human or the Infernal. I guess it's to free their soul. One thing they always say is the word Latome afterwards. I don't know what Latome means, but I'm assuming it's going to play more into the future of the series and what's going to happen maybe where all these souls get sent or something. That'd be pretty cool to see. And then, yeah, again, for that fight scene, there's some cool stuff, because you see Takehisha and Akitaru. They pretty much are using weapons, like different types of guns and stuff and shields. And Maki, she's using some, like, she can, I guess what they call it is ignition powers. They can use like the fire or control the fire however they want. So it's pretty cool to see that from her, all the different characters showing their abilities. So far, the only person that I haven't really seen do anything besides like, I guess end the fight is Iris. So I'm wondering if she has special powers. Maybe she has them like, dormant or something. It'd be pretty cool. And other than that, you get the fight ends, the wife is destroyed, and you see that Shinra finally comes to terms with, the flashback and everything. Now, you see Akitaru, sorry, I cannot get these names right, talk to Shinra, and he's telling them, look, this is what you are. You're a hero. You saved that woman. This is what you're going to be doing, so feel good about it, And that's why I like Akitaru. He's a friendly, he's like your best friend type of dude, but he also lets you get the job, makes sure you get the job done in the way that you're supposed to. So that's pretty much it for episode 1. It ends on a pretty cool note where Shinra finally comes to terms with everything, and he's like, you know what? This is my place. I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to be like what I wanted to be as a kid and save everyone. So, yeah. So I guess some quick criticisms about the episode 1 as well as pros and cons, I thought. So one thing I don't like with this anime, and a lot of animes these days are doing it, they have like a less detailed version of the anime characters. So like if it's a faraway shot, they won't draw the eyes, or they won't draw the mouth. They'll just draw a blank face. And to me, that just looks lazy. It just looks like they're not trying. However, the overall art style, I will praise heavily. The overall art style is really cool. It looks like a lot of jagged edges. Like you feel like it's a fiery type of anime, like it's right out of a comic book or something, where the creator's like drawing with pencil and like making jagged edges. That's pretty cool. I like the art style overall. The voice cast pretty good for the dub. There are some people that are pretty cool. Like I think Iris is the voice of Trunks in Dragon Ball Super, at least the Broly movie. And so there's some other cool notable cast members. So far, I think I can't really pinpoint who my favorite voice actor is yet, or who has my favorite voice. I don't know how the sub did it, but I'm sure that people who watch the sub will enjoy the voice cast over there as well. Also, I say the episode was paced pretty well. You didn't dwell on the flashbacks too much. You didn't dwell on the action too much. You didn't have to go full on with the lore. It kind of hit you with one thing after another, and it was switching the pace so much that you just felt that you were continuously going. I never felt like, oh, when is this episode going to end? Or, oh, how long have I been watching? When it ended, I was like, that was a damn good episode. That was a damn good intro. And for me, to hook me on an anime, you need to hit me with the first episode coming out strong. If it's an anime that takes, time to build up, one in particular that I would talk about is Food Wars. That one, I know a lot of people who love it, but the first episode just didn't grip me. And maybe in the comments, you guys can tell me that it's amazing. But to me, I didn't really like that one. But this episode of Fire Force was really good, gripped me. And yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. So that's my review for Fire Force episode 1. Next, we're going to head into Fire Force Episode 2. Alright, so here's Fire Force Episode 2 called The Heart of the Fire Soldier. And in this episode, it's pretty much Akitaru telling Shinra, hey, there's some rookie games coming up for the new recruits and all that, so get ready and get prepared. And the funny part is this dude is like lifting weights, just chilling, and while he's talking to him, it's like a visual comedy, and I like visual comedy a lot, especially in anime, so it's cool to see that type of stuff. You see Maki and Iris are on the top of the roof of the cathedral, and they are just chilling, and then you see Maki able to summon like a fire familiar. It's pretty cool. She can use alcohol to summon little familiars, and she calls it Sputter, and it's pretty much like a combination of a Pokemon and a familiar, where it just continuously says its name Sputter all the time. So it's pretty cool that she could do that, and I think that was a nice, two nice character building scenes right from the get-go of the anime. But then you see another scene of Shinra. He's walking through a corridor, and I guess in the cathedral, and you see a new character. So we get introduced to Arthur Boyle. I should have listed off the voice actors for everyone else, but he's voiced by Eric Vale. I don't know what he's done, but he's this cocky dude, blonde hair. He refers to himself as a knight, and I guess Knight Arthur makes sense. So he's pretty much cocky and wants to prove that he's better than everyone. Turns out he's a new recruit, because I didn't mention this, but Akitaru tells Shinra that for the new rookie games, there's a new recruit as well. So Arthur comes in. This guy's he apparently Shinra knows him, and he's like, oh man, I remember you from the academy. So they were rivals when they were trying to become new recruits for the Fire Force, which is pretty cool. So you get a little tie in there. So Maki and Iris are chilling, and then Shinra and Arthur bust into the scene, and they're fighting. And then Taki, oh my god, I keep forgetting his name. Takihisha comes in, and he was like, guys, you can't be fighting like this. But since you did that, Maki, you also can't be doing fire familiars like that and play with fire like that. So you're gonna take on these two by yourself, and we're gonna see what happens. So right out the gate, we get a tag team with two people who don't like each other versus a second generation fire person, which is Maki, and they're fighting, and we find out something cool. Maki can actually disperse flames, so she can actually take away Shinra's flames from his feet while he's trying to use them, and it's makes Shinra like fall down like super far, and you're like, holy crap, this chick is pretty good. Even though she's a second generation, she can beat a third generation, but I'm assuming that's because Shinra's just not experienced enough. Anyways, Arthur comes in. This guy has a cool weapon. It's like a plasma blade, and he's able to get away with not being affected by that tactic that Maki uses, where she disperses the flame because it's plasma. I don't know how that works, because fire, plasma, I don't understand. But if someone wants to explain that in the comments, feel free to. Anyways, they fight. She ends up getting the upper hand, and she can actually turn their flames, even the plasma, into familiars. So it's like, wow, she can manipulate fire to that degree. This chick is pretty cool. Another thing we figure out about Maki here is she hates being treated as like a tomboy. You know, people call her names that were more degrading in terms of being feminine, and she likes, you know, she wants to be more like a feminine type person, but on the outside people kind of see her as a, you know, muscular bodybuilder type person. So I like the character, and she gets really pissed when people are like referring to her as other stuff. I forget the exact things they called her, but she gets super pissed, and she summons a Bobobo reference. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that anime with the dude with the mustache, and it's like a fire familiar that's giant, but she literally calls it Bobobo, the same amount of Bobobos. So I was like, this is definitely a reference, most definitely. I don't know if this anime studio handled that anime or what, but that'd be some cool trivia if they did. I thought that was interesting. So after the fight, we get some more scenes with Arthur and Shinra, and they're trying to best each other. You know, they're just going out eating ramen, doing some other stuff, and everything they're doing, they're trying to one up one another. And that's one thing I like about these two characters. They're really going in and trying to be like the friendly rival. I like that dynamic in a lot of shows, not even just anime, but just shows in general. The two people that are kind of on even level, but you know, they're button heads all the time, because it gives both those characters motivation to rise above one another and get more powerful. It's not just a random power boost that's going to happen for no reason. I mean, unless you're talking about like maybe Dragon Ball with Goku and Vegeta, but that's like a whole nother story for a whole nother time. So then later on, you see Shinra and Arthur get shown more of the headquarters, the cathedral, and you see how the weapons are made for Takehisha and Akitaru. And those two are, since they only use weapons, you can see like there's like a whole entire armory, blacksmith area where they're making weapons. And they actually give Shinra a weapon, like an axe that can fire like a bullet or something. I don't exactly know. He doesn't end up using it. It's pretty cool though, because you see, because they're going on their next mission, and their next mission is going to be in an enclosed space. So Shinra's not gonna be able to just kick his feet around and go flying everywhere. He might have to use a weapon, because he can't. I guess he can't use fire from his hands or something. Maybe every person is different in what they can do specifically. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. So you get that happening, and after that happens, then they're loading up in a fire truck, which is funny. And it's like, everyone clear the streets, the fire force is coming out. Now, one thing that's interesting to me that I'm wondering about is they're called Fire Force Company 8. I should have mentioned this in episode 1 review, but my question is, are there other Fire Force companies out there, and are we going to see more of them? That would be a nice question to answer. Now, aside from that, you also get the characters a little more of a backstory with Akitaru. He tells Shinra and Arthur, because Arthur has his own weapon, right, to hide their weapons, conceal them, do not let any of the civilians see them when they go into the scene. And at first, Arthur and Shinra are like, what is he talking about? We're firefighters. Of course we're going to have weapons. So they go in and they're starting off, and they're not hiding their weapons. Akitaru pulls them to the side and is like, yo, guys, listen, this is where we get more of Akitaru's backstory. Well, not really backstory, but motivation. And he's like, I understand you guys want to be heroes. I understand you guys want to go fight some fire demons, but that's not what these people are. They're human. They have a family, because this mission is actually about a girl who lost her mother, and the next Infernal that they're about to fight is her father. So she lost family members, and they were the Infernals. So if we go in and she sees us with weapons, just imagine what that'll do to her. And that's a cool thing that Akitaru does. He wants these people he wants to keep a grip on reality. And I like characters like that, but I understand there's more than likely going to be a time when he's going to end up not being able to keep that motivation. He's going to just have to go in and just be as bad as he wants to be to get the job done. But I'm interested to see where that goes. As far as right now, it was a cool story, and it shows us where he's coming from when it comes to this stuff. So they go into the house. Oh, before they go into the house, some weird dude, I don't know if I have any notes on him. I don't believe I remember what he looked like, but he just looked very menacing. He sprinkles some powder, and like a sign comes up, like a flame sign with it's like a smiley face, all of fire, and everyone's like, was that part of the Infernal? And they're like, nope, that definitely was not no Infernal coming up in here and doing something crazy. But yeah, so that guy's there. I guess he's part of this problem, but I don't think he caused the Infernal. Anyways, they go into the house. It's a pretty small place, and you see the father. He's sitting at a table. He has I think it's like a cup of tea, just chilling. He looks much less. He looks much more docile than the previous episodes, Infernals. So you're like, is this guy is he bad? Is he good? And then you figure out that no, he's just really trying to fight off the flame to save his daughter. So they're like, we have to end him. We literally have to end him. So what do? They send Arthur in, because Arthur's like, let me do it. I think part of the fact is he wants to be, he wants to impress everyone and be like, I'm the one, I can do the hard cold stuff. And another thing about Arthur, he likes to be called the Night King, not just the Knight. So I think he's very egotistical, but he also does have another side to him, that's kind of more towards what Shinra does, is a bit more noble, but we don't really see it too much. Anyways, he chops the dude's head off. The Infernal is gone now. Again, they say Latome, so I'm still wondering what that means. And before they leave, again, you see more of Akitaru. He grabs the photo of the girl's parents and her, and he tries to save it, but then the house starts to collapse. And they're like, wait, the Infernal's gone. How did that happen? It's the dude that sprinkled the powder. Apparently, he's doing some more trickery. Gets him, and the house starts falling. They get out of there, luckily, because Akitaru, this guy's lifting weights all the time. He lifts up the entire house. I was like, this guy, he don't got no super strength, that's for sure. But no, he doesn't have any super strength, but I don't know, it is weird. But he was able to survive it. So then they go out. Oh, one last thing before that, Akitaru tells he tells Shinra, he's like, do you feel the pain that this dude's going through? Shinra's like, yeah. Akitaru's like, hold on to that, because once you start feeling numb, that's when you lose all your humanity, pretty much. And that was a good line. I like that line a lot. So they get the job done, and they realize that this guy, this evil guy, or something's amiss, because something's not right here. Why was that spirit type thing? You know, the dude who sprinkled the powder. Why was that sign there? You know, how did the house collapse after the fact? We don't get those answers this time. So they go back to the place. Oh, before that, Akitaru gets the picture to the little girl. It's a pretty heartwarming moment. You know, she's really innocent and all that. So you get to see, you know, the deep emotional side of the story, but you also get the action side and crazy side too. So it's pretty cool. Now, they go back to the place, to the HQ, and you see a scene with Arthur and Shinra, and they're just chilling in bed. And then you kind of see like they build their friendship. They're not just rivals; they're rivals that are more so friends now. So that was a nice way to end it. And so far, the last two episodes have pretty much ended in like Shinra's bed where he's just sleeping. So I wonder if that's a trend that's gonna happen. But we'll see. But that was episode 2. Let me see. I really liked the action scene in the beginning. I think that was a great, pretty much like an opener, and it really showed what powers everyone has. Well, it tells you what Arthur can do right out the gate. He's not just a pushover, cocky guy who was given everything and, you know, rise the ranks through money or inheritance or something. He can actually fight. The guy's pretty smart. You also have that entire other half of the episode wasn't very action packed, so if you were looking for a lot more action, you weren't going to get it too much in this episode. I don't think that's a bad thing, because again, the first episode came out blowing, so I'm already hooked. So if this episode is a little slower, if the next one's a little slower to build up to something bigger, I'm fine with that. But I understand a lot of people might want just straight up action. So if you just want a full on action anime, maybe this isn't for you. We'll see in the next coming episodes. And I can see, you know, again, the other thing with the animation, maybe it was just the first episode thing, but no, now I see it's happening here again, where there's a lot of that detailless, I guess the detailless animation or drawings in the background, where it's just the person's blank, or like it seems like they're lazy with a lot of little motions that other animes would take the time to improve, you know, and whatnot. But overall, you know, I still like the art style a lot. It was great. So that was episode 2. But real quick, I just want to talk about, this is like after both reviews are over, so let me just talk about the opening and ending. I think the opening theme is really great. It shows a lot of what's going to happen, what type of powers everyone has, and it gets you pumped to go on. And the ending theme, at the same time, it reminds me a lot of Persona 5, if you know that type of music, like the acid jazz type stuff. It reminded me a lot of, you know, it's kind of a little bit funky, but it's fast-paced. Really cool. So I'm excited to see more about Iris's journey and what happened to her, because that's explained a lot in the ending, and the theme song is really good as well. So those two are really, really good. I don't know if they're going to have like a second half ending and opening again. And a lot of anime endings are pretty slow-paced, so this one being really, you know, fast-paced, it makes you just want to go on to the next episode already. And yeah, so that's my review of Fire Force episode 1 and 2. Check back, I think, next week, because this week Fire Force episode 3 will not be airing. There's some stuff that happened in Japan that's pretty devastating that you can probably read up on in terms of just type in Japan anime and news, you'll probably see it. It sucks, but they'll be releasing the next episode next week, and I think it's simuldubbed, so we should have the dub and the sub at the same time. So as soon as that drops, you will see me record my review. More than likely next Saturday, you will see this review go up. And until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know if you want to do single reviews like this, if you want to wait till the series is over and just discuss everything in one big video, if you want more people to come on here, and if you want to see other animes. And be sure to like the video, comment on what you want to see in the comments below. And if you want to see more of this stuff without having to worry about, you know, going and finding our channel, you can click the subscribe button and click the little bell to turn on notifications so that you can see us. But until next time, this has been RZ at the Gobuku Studios, and I will see you in my next Fire Force review for the channel. So until then, I'll see you guys later. See ya.